All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. Covered KULR yesterday, and look at what we got today. Have to talk about it one more time. I mean, so many different things were emphasized, right? And I think we saw it come out here today, right? Big use of the 50 moving average line, the red one right there. Big use of our new horizontal. I think we were at 12 dojis. I don't even remember what that count was, right? But just doji after doji after doji after doji, and a bigger doji after doji after doji from this little moment right here, right? So I always say it, when the bunch of dojis come, you're gonna get a big candle that should be telling you the truth. I like the truth that we saw today, to say the least, right? Just give me a little confirmation, and that golden line is really what I see next, if not more, right? So I wasn't sure what to cover next. There was a request to cover game and KOSS, so that's what I'm going to do really quickly. ASTS is looking really nice. LUNR, Lunar, is looking not too bad. Just get me over those moving averages. Rocket Lab is actually looking really nice. What was another one? There was another one. I know I talked. Either way, you can see it. These space tickers are actually looking really interesting. That's what I thought I was going to cover. But again, I'm here for the views. I'm here to make the viewers happy. And let's look at GameStop and KOSS. So interesting things going on here, and really what I see is an emphasis of why the 200 moving average is the last one for a reason. It's the one I called the biggest, the baddest. It's the hardest to break up, and it should be the hardest to lose down, and I think we very much saw that right here, right? Come all the way to it, very nicely gap up, and lo and behold, we actually took over several moving averages today, right? So interesting candle, interesting moving average reaction. Really though, I think the important question is going to be, is this just a single random, or is this going to sustain, hold, and really confirm is what we're going to be looking for here, all right? The other one is KOSS, KOSS, and again, an interesting candle to say the least. Look, in a lot of ways, this one actually was under the 200 moving average, right? If you look at it though, the confirmation wasn't really there. That's a bad candle underneath. All of those are dojis and don't count. That's a bad candle underneath. Look, that's not a pretty candle by any means, shape, or form, but hey, it's still a green one. And it technically doesn't confirm this one. And then lo and behold, we have a bunch of green candles, some little, I'd call them more insignificant red ones, and then all of a sudden we're right back over, right? So really interesting moving average reactions. I don't know what the word is, right? But I think it's a really easy way to emphasize why I love these lines so much. I think a cool thing to call out real quick, Reddit. So there was an article from someone in the Discord group. I don't actually have, I had a Reddit account. I had some issues with it. That's not the point of it. All of a sudden, boom, it is actually the number 2 post in one of these Reddit rooms, which is pretty cool, right? And it is about these two stocks. So a little bit of also why we're doing it, and giving some love to people in the room, right? So yeah, interesting to talk about all of these for sure. Again, I'm not going to talk. Maybe if I have time, I'll make another one on those space tickers. But just keep an eye on those space tickers. I thought those were pretty interesting. But yeah, before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel, share this video online, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So let's get into KULR, and again, what a lovely, hey, you know, I just want to joke, I don't know if anyone else does it, but every time I look at this ticker right here, I think of the movie The Water Boy, and I always go, KULR. So I don't know if anyone else does it, but every time I do it, it makes me laugh. Let's get into the technicals, though. That's why we're here, right? The big story on yesterday's video was the 50 moving average, as well as the string of dojis that really was extremely longer and very much higher than the last time it happened. All right, so let's talk about both of them really quickly. Look, when a stock makes a big run up, one thing that is important is how it uses the other lines. All right, I did not like the fact that we lost the 20 moving average, that orange one, so quickly, despite the fact that we never even needed to use it on the climb up, right? Hot knife through butter. Normally, that would happen if we bounced, 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 couldn't do it anymore, right? So there was a little bit of hesitation, in all honesty, with this 50 moving average line. But hey, I'm here respecting the MAs until they tell me not to. You know what I mean? And look, the exact same comment. We never, literally never, right? We got a baby little wick right there, but you know I don't really care about wicks, right? On that entire climb, we never touched the 50 moving average. So that should be a good, strong, fresh line that should be able to propel us and use it as a support, as opposed to that hot knife through butter, right? That's basically what we saw, I think, easily over the entirety of last week. I think you can even say most of the last 2 weeks, right? And then just taking a step back from the 50 moving average, but obviously still connected, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, and most of 5. You can even argue that little kiss on the Friday of the 6th week, right? We basically had, what's 5 times 25? We're looking at arguably 26 doji candles in a row. All right. And again, my videos, I'm a line trader, right? You either break a line or you lose a line. I'm not here talking about cups and handles, head and shoulder. I'll talk about head and shoulders if the shampoo company gives me an endorsement. You know what I mean? Wedges, ascending, like none of that matters to me. Truth be told, even candles don't matter to me, right? I know there's like there's shooting star, dragonfly. Man, there's one of them I keep calling Harambe, which I know is the gorilla. There's one that starts with an H. There are so many different strategies, right? And I think an important thing is you take some of the bits and pieces from different strategies. One that I take from the candle people is respect the doji. All right, and look, man, my girls out there, we're talking about 7 hours of trading, right? 9:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. Eastern time, whatever in between time zone you live, adjust to that, right? But we're talking about a full 7 hours of trading in that, and in a month plus, we're basically opening and closing at the exact same place. Like that's crazy. That's crazy, crazy uncertainty. That's crazy, crazy indecision. And eventually it needs to break. All right. The one stock I kept flashing, and look, in a lot of ways it might be a little disrespectful to Soundhound, but I just keep thinking of Soundhound and I keep zooming out all the way to here. February of last year, the NVIDIA partnership popped. All right, boom. We have a simple 5-day doji right there. All right. We then have what you can see was most of a month right there. Then we have several months right there. And in between all that, hey, it's gone up most of the time, right? Look, again, are KULR and Soundhound the same? No, right? I think Soundhound has a much louder NVIDIA connection. Hey, KULR has a lot of really interesting connections on its own. I know it has Blue Origin connections. I know it has SpaceX connections. There was this cool little PowerPoint that they shared on one of their earnings or maybe somewhere on the website, right? So, nonetheless, we see the pop, we see a little baby horizontal, we see a longer horizontal, and then an even longer horizontal right there. We were down here, we were up here, we're now up here. It's in my eyes a lot of the same thing. You're maintaining horizontal, which for me I don't like. I really don't, right? I'm here looking for parabolic up, hit eject on the way down, right? But yeah, this thing is basically going away from the 8 to the 8, away from the 8 to the 8, away from the 8 to the 8, kind of just staying here now, and all of a sudden, this is where we're going to start talking about the immediate. All of a sudden, to me, it looks like we got the first truth candle. Okay, now I say it on the way up, and I say it on the way down. We can't get too excited about a single candle, right? But at this moment, I'm expecting us to come to 290. right? Maybe it'll be this right here around 285. Maybe it'll be this up here around 296. I think that kind of in between around 287 to 290, that 291 number I just gave, that's what I'm looking for confirmation. And hey, if you can get me to that, I would start getting hungry for 366 and beyond, right? So, right now, the last thing, because you know I'm going to talk about up, I'm going to talk about down. The last thing I want to see is this thing come back down to the 230s. I really, really don't want that, right? If maybe we come down and we're able to hold like 250, 245, I think I'm willing to be accepting of that. I would still call that okay. Obviously, I still need that 290 to confirm, right? But I would be okay with like a 250-ish tomorrow. That basically be a doji, one hopefully last time, and then we confirm and go. All right. I think the big story here actually is volume. All right. What I'm gonna show you is this single big pop right here. When I zoom in a little more, you can still see there was a little bit of something going on right here as we were climbing. All of a sudden, really since this entirety of the doji started, all of a sudden, because of these bigger pools of volume up, it sorry, it's stalling a little bit. It started to mess with the 50-day line, right? When your average gets an outlier way high up, all of a sudden that line's going to raise a little higher than sustainably, right? And you can see it. We were nowhere near, not even close. All of a sudden, very far and badly away from that 50 line, right? For it to stay horizontal with this bad of volume, relatively speaking, that's pretty strong. It really is. And I think it goes to show the strength of the line. It goes to show the strength of all the news that we were seeing from KULR, right? Like there's some strength to staying horizontal when volume is down. It really is, okay? What I see now is twofold. Number one, and most obvious, hey, we got over the line, right? Boom. All of a sudden, it's none of this silliness that we saw anymore, right? We are clearly over the line. The other thing is, hey, the line is starting to come back to reality. It's been far enough from this initial crazy one that it's starting to come down. And then, hey, as these ones average, it'll keep coming down. And hopefully, as the line comes down, right, that 50, because all we're doing is taking the average of the last 50-day volume, right? As this comes down, I want volume to grow. So all of a sudden, not only are we over the line, we're breaking it better than yesterday, breaking it better than the neighbor, blah, 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 blah. And you get what I'm saying, right? Let's compound the volume growth with exponential volume average breaking. All right, hopefully that made sense. Let me know in the comments if it didn't, right? But I'm liking what I'm seeing with the volume. I think that's what's helping us escape. And you hear me say it all the time. It's my second golden rule for a reason, and I'll bookmark it right here at 1305. Volume is king, right? Volume is queen for the ladies out there, and volume will dictate if you break lines and go or you lose lines and no, right? So, yeah, look, obviously MACD and RSI are starting to improve. It's definitely still a negative one. I'm seeing the green over red, but not on both. I think right now, I'm not really focused on these two too much. I need the moving averages to confirm. I need volume to grow as the 50-day line goes down. If these two can strike, I already see a 55 RSI that's super healthy, right? So I think it's okay for me to ignore these and let's just see what the candles do. All right, so nothing crazy going on after hours. You know I don't care a lot about after hours, so in a lot of ways that's fine. And let's be honest, KULR is the type of stock where if we're up 28% in regular hours, we're not going to just lose a little 2% baby thing, right? We're either going to drop all the way down here or, hey, we're going to like holding again, kind of with this horizontal. You know I don't like holding. You know I want to continue and go, right? But holding ain't bad right now after hours for a ticker like KULR, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at these next two. So, interesting things going on, like I said in the opening thoughts, right? I think game is a little more technically sound. Really, I don't even need to zoom out. I think this is the perfect view. When you lose the 8, you're going to come to the 20. When you lose, and I'll even show it up here, right? You lose the 8, you're going to come to the 20. You lose the 20, you're going to come to the 50. Lose the 50, go to the 100. Lose the 100, go to the 200. Again, boom, 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 boom. To me, this was just a textbook move with the moving averages. You go away from the 8, you come to the 8. You lose it, and you go away from the 8, and so on and so forth, right? What I wanted to zoom out and just kind of no, I don't need to show it. It's fine, right? So right now there's a couple things to focus on. All right, and it's really it's what I just ended the KULR thoughts on. It's where I think I'll start with the game thoughts. A lot of what is happening is volume. All right, volume is a really really important thing to. Volume just means attention, right? And if you're looking at a stock that doesn't have the right amount of attention, hey, it might be the best. We've seen amazing companies fail because they just couldn't get the right attention. I have loved products from people and from companies that I wish did better instead of go under. And you know what I mean? I'm not, you get what I'm saying, right? So volume is very, very important. And you can see it one, two, three, maybe this one, but I'm actually even willing to say 4. It's basically been 5 weeks since we've been anywhere near the 50-day line, right? These two right here. And you can see this. And really, today wasn't even a perfect smash of it. And we actually closed under. Volume was 9.4 million. That average line was at 9.8, right? So we were actually 400,000 shares below the line still, right? So it's an improvement, but yeah, GameStop really needs volume. Is a very important part of this entire analysis. Okay, I think the volume did come at a right time, and I think a lot of the reason why the volume came was the 200 moving average. Again, I said it in the beginning. I'm going to say it one more time. This is the hardest line to break up. And once you've gotten over them, it should be the hardest one to lose down, because once you lose it, all of a sudden you're below them all and you die, as opposed to above them all and fly, right? So it's important that we held it. I'm glad that we held it. I actually very, very much love how we gapped up and opened all the way up here, let alone that we closed right there, right? So a lot of strength driven by a good technical reason, nice little splash of volume, right? What will matter tomorrow will be volume again. Look, I need volume. I need. Let me zoom out and yeah, it has to be around here. Even that's a little low, but I'll take that. 16.5 million. Really, what I would love it to be a little closer to 20. That'd be a little closer to like a couple of these candles. But yeah, I'll take this one right here. This one was basically around 16. I'm basically clicking at 17. That's what I want to see, right? If we're going to get 17 million shares in a 7-hour trading day, we need to be around 2.5 million shares that first hour, maybe 5 million shares by that second hour, right? If that can happen, all of a sudden I'm going to believe we're going to break the 20 and head to the 50. I'm going to believe we're going to go from there and all the way up to this 28.70 line. Where is it actually sitting at? It's 28.90, right? So something in there. I think the money line is probably going to be that. It's probably going to be the top of that. Maybe you can say the bottom of that. Yeah, I think anywhere between 27.40 and 27.50. Not that big a range, but look, make me believe we've gotten over the orange line, that 20 moving average, and hey, all we're going to do is head on up to the 50. Red, 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 a decent little horizontal right there. Maybe that 27.90 is going to slow it down a little bit, but no, I think there's enough room for it to head up to there, all right? MACD and RSI aren't quite fantastic yet, but again, same things I said with KULR. I think if volume can do the job, it'll help the moving averages do the job, and from there we'll start focusing on the MACD and the RSI in a couple days, all right? The last thing I want to see is us fall all the way down to 26.16. All right, you can see it. We did not close over the 20 moving average, right? So it would basically be come back down to the next lines that we were just at. I would hate that, right? Maybe, let me zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, maybe we'll come down to 26.70 on GameStop. I would hope we don't go any lower than 26.70 here, all right? But again, the real goal now is this one. 27.50, give or take, you break that, and all of a sudden we're going to start thinking basically 29 bucks. I really like GameStop over that 28 line, that 29 line, right? If we can get to that, that's when we're going to start thinking, up here and all that. I'm not even trying to say that number because, hey, we're still a $27 stock, right? So let's keep the targets realistic. But hey, we're literally only a line and a half. I'm calling that 20 moving average a half, but basically two moving averages away from breaking them all and flying, right? So where's the weekly at? Look, it's still a tight weekly. It's still a tight weekly, right? And again, I'm liking this line a lot more. This line will basically put us over all of them on the weekly, over all of them on the daily. That's going to be the goal right there. So I actually think what I want to do is raise it to here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Look, it's basically the top of that, bottom of that, bottom of that. I like that line. I think 29.75 is our money line. You break that and I'll start thinking above there because, again, like we just saw, that'll put us overall on the weekly and overall on the daily, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's do a quick review of KOSS. Hey, look, this is a big candle right here, okay? This is for sure a big candle. And like I mentioned, there was an article, and check it out. I think the link is here, right here. Boom, there's a Reddit one right there. There is an article basically connecting KOSS and game together, right? So I don't know these well enough to say anything educated about that, but you can see there were some thoughts in the Discord, all right? But what am I looking at right now? Really, I think it's the echoing theme across all three. Look, normally, and I rarely start right here, and I'm only starting right here just to say I'm kind of going to ignore it. Look, normally, I get excited when I see that good divergence on both, green over red, and they both have that, like, I want to go away from the red line divergence going, right? I still think I'm going to ignore these two right here, all right? There's a lot of moving averages really close to each other, and same story as the other ones. There's been basically a month, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit of this fifth week, a month plus of just inability to hit the 50-day line. So I really want, and I would easily say that KOSS did the best comparatively to the 50-day line, right? When we looked at KULR, it was basically there. We just looked at game and said, hey, it was close to it but couldn't get over it. Hey, KOSS actually broke the 50-day line. That's solid right there. Broke it by a lot too, right? So I would love to start replicating maybe this volume right here. Let's bring this thing to 350,000 shares, right? Under a million, but that's fine. 350,000 in a 7-hour day. I need 50 million shares an hour, right? 50,000, excuse me. I want to be around that 100,000 by the second hour. That's basically 50% of today in 2 hours, right? So that alone would actually substantially look really good on the screen and obviously start to hit the volume targets that we want, right? But we're going to need big volume because, look, those are two tough lines individually. Those are two tough lines when they're clustered that close together, right? So that's a thicker wall now because there are multiple moving averages, and it's hard to break, and volume is what's going to help us get over that right there, all right? I can see this coming down to 675, just below the 200 moving average. I'd relatively be okay with that. I don't want to go too much lower than that. I would hate to see this thing come down to 646, right? I don't want to come down to the 20 moving average. I'd be okay kind of holding this 200 moving average, holding, going on the next one, right? So that would be a decent 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, give me the needed volume to basically close around 733. 733 is what we're going to need to really believe that we've broken the two lines. Like, I don't want to close right here at 719 because, yeah, we'll obviously be over the two lines, but over and breaking are two very different things, right? So again, I don't really know the connection between GameStop and KOSS. I'll tell you, my boy Mike does a lot, and he very much approved the Reddit article in theory as well. So if you've got them, hey, throw them out there, right? There are people that are into it. To me, I do my best to just let these lines and technicals kind of keep everything together, right? But I sincerely believe there are stocks that follow other stocks, even though they're not even in the same sector or really have any reason to follow. You know what I mean? So if you can find those, it's actually a good thing to have in your back pocket. All right. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.